What's up, guys? This is Double XL Otaku here, and the other day I got a package in the mail from Castlemania Games with my pre-order for the Brawler 64 controller from Retro Fighters. Now, this is a modern take on the Nintendo 64 controller, turning it a lot closer to an Xbox or an Xbox One controller. As you can see here, it moves the analog stick over to the top left side instead of in the dead center of the controller, which a lot of people nowadays complain about it giving hand cramps and being awkward, and I can attest I have had quite a few hand cramps even though I played the Nintendo 64 when I was younger with zero problem. It also moves the Z button to where the triggers would be on a modern controller. Now, all the standard buttons are still here, and nothing really else has been moved around aside from the Z button and the analog stick, and everything feels nice. Everything is pretty solid. Nothing feels really mushy aside from those triggers, but I kind of expect it because the Z button on the original Nintendo 64 controller was pretty squishy. The analog stick is pretty tight. Actually, is a lot tighter than I've ever dealt with on a Nintendo 64 controller. But you know what? Enough talk. Let's go ahead and check this bad boy out, see if it adds any fun or if it's just another dud. Alright, first off, since they call this the Brawler 64, let's go ahead and try one of the fighting games that I absolutely personally love on the Nintendo 64, Flying Dragon. Now, I do not have a Rumble pack, so I won't be able to test the Rumble. Okay, I have no equipment extra, so let's go ahead and see how this performs. So far, it's pretty much as if I'm playing with the regular one. Oh, I missed. Which, I haven't played this in a little bit, so I'm not as good as I once was on this. I've kind of forgotten most of the moves. But it's definitely working as it should. I actually find it way better than the original controller for this. Let's just see if I can manage to win or not. I'm not sure exactly if I can. Oh, KO with 1 second left. Okay. Let's go ahead and stop that one there. Alright, now let's check out Cruising USA. We'll go automatic. And I always liked using the La Bamba. Okay. Let's see if I can remember. And with having the Z button on the triggers, it makes it a lot more natural for the current way when someone's trying to play a racing game, because typically that's how you get your gas, is the R2 button, the right trigger. So by having the Z button it makes this a lot easier. Okay. As I'm... oh, ran into him. Get off me. Okay. Get off the track. Oh, I did it again. This is not a knock on the controller. This is just how long it's been since I've played this game. And kind of how much I suck at racing games to begin with. But, again, this is probably the best telling of how the Z button moved really does. And there's no hand cramp trying to hold it the entire time to have the Z button pressed down. So that's definitely another benefit. As I go in a second. And I probably won't make first, but let's see. Oh, hit the cop car. Nope, I finished in second. Okay, but, you know, again, it did really well for what I intended for that. Okay. Next up, let's see how it handles another game that I'll only be able to have on here for a couple seconds because, well, Nintendo. But let's see how it handles Mario. Okay, now let's see how it does with Mario, which required the analog stick to move around. As you can see, I'm able to move pretty good, jumping with no problems, using the Z for the, as I called it as a child, the butt attack. Camera zooming, camera moving around with no problems. Okay, so probably the game I think most benefits out of using the analog stick with its change of positioning is definitely Mario, because again, you had to move around with the analog stick. You didn't have the option of using the D-pad. The D-pad did not let you move around. But okay, try one more game that I'm kind of curious over how it's going to work. Alright, our final game is going to be WWF No Mercy, which is going to let us test out some of the other buttons to see how well they perform. And I'm going to go ahead and play as one of my personal all-time favorites, The Undertaker, in his American Badass gimmick. There's also, of course, the without the headband and sunglasses, and Ministry of Darkness Undertaker, which was probably one of the weirdest parts of the Attitude Era, but you know, rose-colored glasses and all that. So we'll have him take on we'll go with a classic feud and have him take on Kane. Alright, Undertaker versus Kane. We don't need their entrances. Alright, fight. You want to taunt me to start with? Okay. As the grappling works just as well. The B button works for the attacks. As again, I haven't played this game in quite some time. The R button works for reversals, but it's not working too great for me. Oh, you're gonna big dog my attack. Okay. Again, the C sticks are working fine for running around. The analog stick works good for taunting. So there's no complaints here whatsoever. If anything goes wrong, it's not the gamepad's fault. So now realistically, I don't think Undertaker ever did that in his entire career. Now I'm gonna not force y'all to sit through an entire match, but it just kind of points out what does and does not really work that well. And so far, I have zero complaints. Honestly, I absolutely love what I'm doing so far here. I love how this plays, and I'll go ahead and wrap this up now and give you my final thoughts. Now, I think that the Brawler 64 gamepad is the best way to experience Nintendo 64 games in 2018. Currently, they're out of stock everywhere. If you go through Castlemania Games, you can sign up for a waiting list for restocking, or go directly to retrofighters.com and place an order to get in their next batch, which, according to their website, their ETA for their next batch is November of 2018. And of course, you know, that is not a guarantee, but they do ship in small batches, and thus far, the things I've gotten from Retro Fighters, I've been really pleased with. Now, I asked before, was this going to be fun? And I think this actually adds to the fun with Nintendo 64. Especially when we potentially have a classic system coming soon. And if this gets announced shortly after this video goes up, that will actually be kind of funny to me. But if you have the original console, this will work wonders. I cannot say whether it will work or how it will work with any of the USB connectors, because I do not have a N64 to USB connector, nor do I use it when I play anything on the computer, because I don't use emulators. I'm not against those that do, and those that do, more power to you. I just don't. I like playing on the actual hardware when I can. Of course, things like Atari or ColecoVision and such, that's a different story, but there aren't that many games for those systems that actually interest me. But I digress. So, once again, is the Brawler 64 controller a great deal at $30 that's going to add a lot of fun to what you're playing? Short answer, yes. Long answer, yes. Yeah, I know. XO, not funny. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's all about having fun. And if you're not having fun, what are you doing? So, as always, you can check me out on Twitter. You can hit up the Facebook page, or you can head over to Twitch and watch me stream there. I am streaming more days than not lately. And while it's not a set schedule, as soon as I have more concrete times, I'll be adding them to the page. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button. If you dislike it, go ahead and hit the dislike. I won't be upset. But tell me what you think in the comments. And if you like my content, go ahead and subscribe for more. And if you really like it, after you subscribe, hit that little bell next to it so you get notified when a video goes up. That's it for now. This has been a XXL Otaku. Time to find more fun in gaming.